Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, NFL power rankings are starting to come out. Did the experts get it right? Plus, Joel Klatt joins the show to break down the Heisman Trophy race. And is there any way that Adrian Peterson can get going with the Saints? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. USA Today released their updated power rankings, and the Chiefs moved into the top spot after beating the Patriots in Foxborough. The Packers climbed into the second after their big home win over the Seahawks, but the Cowboys came in sixth, despite dominating the Giants, led by Ezekiel Elliott's 104 yards on the ground. Yep. Shannon, should the Packers be ranked ahead of the Cowboys?
Absolutely. I think they had the more impressive of the two wins. They beat a team that had 8 of their 11 starters had gone to a Pro Bowl. A lot of those guys have been all pro, and the Cowboys beat the Giants without their best player, Odell Beckham. Now, he might have been doing the two-step, but that's neither here. We'll talk about that later, Skip. Look, Skip, I'm not going to try and diminish what the Cowboys done. They won a game. They beat a division rival, especially early in the season, because everybody circled that date on the calendar. We know, well, we don't know. We think that it's going to come down between these two teams for the division win, and to always get the upper hand. So you've already set them back. They need to go 2-0 in order to get to above 500. You've done your part. You've held serve. You're at home, and that's all they've done. They held serve at home. But they did it without the best player on the field. So maybe, probably not, if they had Odell Beckham and they had won in the convincing fashion that they did, maybe I would have said, but after what Aaron Rodgers did on Sunday against that defense, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers deserve to be in the 2 slot. You know that, I know that, but you're going to try to make a case because of Dak and all the jersey sales that Zeke.
You're putting words in my mouth. I haven't said
it. Because I already know you. I know you. But I believe the Packers should be in the 2 slot because they had the more convincing of the 2 wins on Sundays, and the Cowboys won a game without the Giants' best player on the field.
And silly me, I thought you actually had done your homework for once for this show today, because you had it all spread out in front of you, and you had nothing to fire back at me with that even cocked one of my eyebrows. Because the last time we spoke about this topic, you were picking Seattle to win at Green Bay, and then you were picking the Giants to win at Dallas.
Yes.
If I remember. And all of a sudden, you've completely flipped it around, and now you say Green Bay proved it's better than Dallas, even though Dallas. Oh, I don't know. I can't make 2 + 2 = 4, but that's just me.
You're an English major in college. Yeah. They don't do math.
Okay. So, bottom line, after one game, Green Bay is being laughably, I'm going to underline that word, laughably overrated. Because that defense that we saw on Sunday was pretty much the very same defense that finished 21st last regular season in points allowed.
Right.
And that defense, to my eye, made 0 significant upgrades through the offseason. Unless you want to consider Devon House, and I don't. Devon House, you'll remember, started with Green Bay, then he went to Jacksonville for a couple of years. And then they brought him back on a 1-year contract, so they didn't exactly commit long-term to a long cornerback named Devon House. That's just about it, except for the first 4 draft picks, Mr. Sharpe. All of them defensive players drafted, and none of them started on Sunday, and not one of them had a significant contribution on Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks. So that brings us back to last year's playoffs, in which this very same defense, as is, went to Dallas for the first playoff game and allowed 31 points and 429 Dallas Cowboy yards as the Dak attack went 6 for 11 on 3rd down. And then, of course, they somehow survived by the hand of God field goal. And on they went to Atlanta for the NFC Championship game, at which they allowed 44 points and 493 yards. And get this, 10 out of 13 did Matt Ryan convert on 3rd down. So in 2 playoff games, this very same group, the same defense, no upgrades, gave up, if my math is right, 16 out of 24 on 3rd down conversions. 16 out of 20. I don't know math very well, but that sounds pretty great to me and pretty bad for the Green Bay defense. So now we're going to leap to the conclusion that Green Bay is maybe it might be the best team in the NFL, but definitely the best team in the NFC after it dominated a pathetic Seattle offense that had lost its starting left tackle during the preseason, George Fant. You know that, and I know that. Seattle very good in the offensive line? No. So what did my eyes tell me on Sunday? The most dangerous threat Seattle has is Tyler Lockett returning kicks. Seriously, that was the only time I was like, uh-oh, they got a shot here. Or maybe when Russell Wilson takes off, and you know and I know he's not going to take off as much this year because he always gets beaten up when he runs the ball downfield. So he took off twice on Sunday, and he went for 29 and 11, and that was pretty much it. That's like the most dangerous part of their rushing attack for sure is Russell Wilson. So now let's get back to the Packers. On offense, the Packers in the first half scored all of 0 points. Why was that? Because Aaron Rodgers went down 4 times in the first half. Wow. Why did he go down 4 times? Because over time, he's losing a lot of stalwarts in his offensive line. TJ Lang is obviously gone. J.C. Tretter's obviously gone. So all of a sudden, they start mixing and matching new linemen. I don't think they're very good in the offensive line. But what happened over time in the second half? Seattle's offense was so pathetic that Seattle's defense had to stay on the field way too long. It was almost double in the time of possession. It was 39-21 time of possession, right? So Seattle's defense started to wear down in the second half.
What about the Giants' defense?
Well, I'm staying on Green Bay. We'll get to them in just a moment.
Okay.
So the point is that Green Bay scored 2 touchdowns in this game. Mm-hmm. One came fairly early in the second half after Russell Wilson coughed up the football at a 6-yard line. So all they had to do is go 1 play for 6 yards for a touchdown.
He just coughed it up?
He coughed it up.
I mean, what happened?
Mike Daniels forced a fumble. Okay, is that what you want to get to?
Yeah, because you can't leave that part out to make it seem like he just threw the ball down.
Yeah, Russell's trying to do too much, and he's getting a little careless with the football, and I think he was thinking about taking off up the middle of the field, and he got stripped. Okay, and then what happened on the game-breaking touchdown, the 32-yard touchdown pass to Jordy Nelson? If you can't beat him, trick him. And Aaron Rodgers pulled off one of his classic trickeration plays.
Kind of like Tom Brady, huh?
Well, hard count.
Yeah.
He's Mr. Hard Count. How many times does it happen a game? 4 or 5 times a game?
I played with a guy I played with a guy that was master of the hard count. It's a part of the game.
Okay.
If you can get cheap yards and march the ball methodically down the field,
he got a cheap touchdown because Seattle got caught where it looks like flags are flying, and everybody, as you well know, on those plays, the defense sort of comes to a halt for a second, like it's out of sync, like should we stop or not? And all of a sudden, Earl Thomas is looking around, and is it my man or your? Oh, Jordy ran right past him. Maybe the best free safety in football, and Jordy just runs right past him, and Aaron hit him right on the money. 32 yards, game-breaking touchdown. So that's it. That's all you got in that game. A cheap 6-yarder and a slightly cheap-end 32-yard touchdown pass. And you're saying that was dominating? I'm sorry, I don't get it.
Okay, Skip, you went back to the playoffs, and I've tried to keep it forward, you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm just showing you it's the very same defense. Don't overreact to one game. Okay. It's still the one that finished 21st in points allowed.
Okay, as the number 1 seed, the Cowboys played 1 playoff game, and the Packers played 2 playoff games. Can you tell me why that is?
Well, the hand of God field. There are 2 of them. 56 and 51 yards saved Aaron Rodgers.
So how many yards did the Cowboys defense give up? Aaron Rodgers had 384.
Yeah, well, they were knocked back on their heels because I told you they were not ready. They didn't have a meaningful football game for the last 3 weeks of the season, and they're kind of new to this because, as we well know, they have not been playoff seasoned over the last 5 years.
How does that get to be the Packers' fault? Because
they were 21-3, and then what happened? Over the last 2.5 quarters, what happened in that playoff game at Jerry World? Help me out. Okay. I'll tell you what happened. This happened. Dallas outscored Green Bay 28-13 over the last 2.5 quarters of that game, and that was the true measuring stick of that game.
No, it wasn't.
And then it was 28-all, and it was 31-all. And Mason Crossbar hits the luckiest the dying quail field goal that fades to the right and barely ekes over the crossbar. I don't know how it went through, but from 56 yards it did. And then he flat out duck hooks the game winner. hooks it left. You can see it.
Okay.
Can we see it? Do
No,
we
no,
have
we
it?
can't. No, we don't
got
have
it on
it. No,
tape.
no,
I'm
we don't.
sure we got it
No, we
somewhere
don't.
on
We
tape.
don't. Can I ask you a
We don't
question?
have it on tape?
Can I ask you a question? When the horn sounded and it was 0-0 on the clock, you got two buses. One got a W on the side,
Yep.
the other's got an L on the side. Which bus did the Packers get on? Which bus did the
Have
Cowboys
you
get on?
ever seen a field goal dead left and all of a sudden start to move back to the right indoors where there's no crosswind? I don't know what happened.
I've seen a lot of
never
things.
seen. Wait, here it is. It's going left. Wait, how did that go back to the right? Did you see it? It's moving left of the left upright, and then it goes back to the right. Is that not the hand of God?
I ask you a simple question.
God said,
I ask you a simple
Aaron's
question.
having a hard time in the postseason since he won that Super Bowl. I got to give him a
How
shot.
could the rookie of the year not match Aaron Rodgers? You said he's better than Aaron Rodgers. Why can't he
The
match?
rookie of the year threw for 300 yards. I thought he was really, really
Aaron
good
Rodgers,
in his first ever playoff game.
Aaron Rodgers threw for 384
He was
and 3
good.
touchdowns.
Yeah, he was good.
So when it mattered the most,
Okay.
your team couldn't get it done. Now we're going back to this year.
Yeah. By the way, when it mattered the most against Matt Ryan at Atlanta the next week, Aaron Rodgers couldn't get it done, which is why he's 5-6 in the postseason since that Super Bowl run.
But Skip, you got to include this. You can't say since.
Okay.
Because since, that means something happened before. And what happened before, he went on a winning streak where he was 4-0. So it happened. Don't make it seem like he has a losing playoff record. The Cowboys, they beat the Giants, but they beat a team without their best offensive weapon. Now, although the left tackle Faint is missing, is he Seattle's best player?
Best player? No, he's their best. I think he's their best offensive lineman.
So
I
let me
don't
ask
even
you a
know that's
question.
like the worst of evils,
So
the
let me ask you
lesser
a
of
question.
evils.
Would you rather have your best player or your best offensive lineman?
I'd rather have a semblance of an offensive line to protect Russell Wilson, who needs to be protected.
You make it seem like Aaron Rodgers got the Cowboys offensive line. So if he
doesn't. I just said that.
If Aaron Rodgers,
I think you're really overrating his offensive line.
No,
It's really, the Packers boil down to Aaron or bust. Seriously, that's what they are.
Yeah.
Aaron or bust.
and that's why they meant up. And see, you get all upset because you say it's blatantly disrespectful how they do Dak. But they realize what he has in his favor. He has the 3 best offensive line and a top 3 running back behind him. So he's not going to get the credit that you want him to get. Let me ask you a question. If Aaron Rodgers had that offensive line, forget the running back. If he had that offensive line in Green Bay, how many yards you think he'd throw for? And how many touchdowns?
I want to know how many interceptions he'd throw, because he'd start getting cocky like he gets, and start getting full of himself and start dancing and prancing a little bit and getting, I can do this, I can do that. I think a little Brett Favre would come out of him. That's what would happen.
Had one season he thrown double-digit interceptions.
So, So, by the way, since the merger, Dak Prescott has the fewest interceptions of any quarterback since the AFL-NFL merger in his first 17 starts. 17 starts? He's only thrown 4 interceptions in 17, but who cares? Nobody notices.
Because they're run down. What's the run-pass ratio? Do they run more or they pass more?
I don't know.
You know.
I don't know. I don't really care.
Don't do that, Skip.
Huh?
Don't do that. Now, you go to church, now, and you know God don't like that. God don't like ugly, Skip. My grandma said, boy, God don't like ugly. Sometimes he don't like pretty. Skip, don't sit over there and do that. Now, you know they're a more run-dominant team than pass team. 17 games is not a large sample size. Let's get back when he's in year 4, year 5, year 6.
Okay, let's wait 6 years to come to a conclusion on it.
No.
Okay.
And see how many. Let me ask you a question. So when his career is over, do you believe he will have fewer interceptions thrown than Aaron Rodgers? Yes or no?
Over the same number of years?
Yes.
Way fewer. I believe it. Way fewer. He does not make mistakes. He is not a mistake maker.
You know why? It's hard when you only throwing now he threw the ball. Now he threw the ball on Sunday. He threw the ball 39 times. He was 29 of 34 for 268.
Yeah. Well, they threw it more than they ran it.
Aaron Rodgers threw it 42 times and was 28 of 42 for 311. Oh.
But what did I tell you? The Giants have the best defense in pro football. They definitely have the best run defense, so Dak had to throw it a little bit more because it was going to be tough. You want to talk about big boy yards, grown man yards that you have to get on the ground that Zeke got. So all of a sudden, Dak had to throw it deep. Did he not throw a couple of really sweet deep balls, one to Bryce Butler and one to Des Bryant that Des should have caught if he hadn't been interfered with all the way up the field?
Odell would have caught it.
Yeah.
Odell would have caught that with one hand because we see him make those miraculous catches with one hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes he pick.
So you know what really sticks in my craw? The
What?
Dak attack featuring
Stop it,
Ezekiel.
it's not
The
no Dak attack.
Rings up 392 yards against the best defense in pro football and goes 8 for 15 on third down, in part because Dak ran for 2 big first downs. And Zeke did have 104 on 24 hard tries.
Well, hold on.
And-
What did you say? What did you say? The Cowboys? Never mind. I got the stat sheet. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make your point.
So, and then what's being just laughably underrated here is the Cowboy defense, and I realize Nodell was not there, but they were 5th in points allowed last year, and they held Eli Manning, 2-time Super Bowl champion, to a QBR of 21, and they held the Giants to all of 35 yards rushing and 3 total points, but there's Nodell, so it's discount, discount, discount. What the Cowboys did, all they did was get revenge over their arch division rival who beat them twice last year. But who cares? Oh, that's right. Odell was dancing that night somewhere else. He was dancing on the sidelines.
You don't know that
he was
to be true.
dancing at the
Yep,
club, or I don't know where he was
Speculation,
going.
speculation.
We don't know. Well, I don't know where he
Judge,
was, but he couldn't play that
Judge.
night for whatever reason.
Objection.
Yeah, objection overruled.
No,
Yeah.
you don't get to say every rule. The
Yeah.
judge gets to say that.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
objecting to you saying that.
Yeah, okay.
Misleading.
Yeah. So just because of that, and you know, you step back and you look at what just happened, and how can you not read something into what the Dak attack did against the Giants defense? Nobody cares. The Cowboys didn't improve at all. They won a game that a lot of people thought they would lose. Am I right?
Oh, so no one picked the Seahawks to beat Green Bay in Green Bay.
Well, you did.
No, so I was the only one.
I don't know. I didn't keep up with it. I do keep up with the Cowboys, and it seemed like most people were picking the Giants to win
You
that
said the
game.
Cowboys went 8 of 15 on third down.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers and the Packers were 9 of 16. So which is a better percentage, 8 of 15 or 9 of 16?
I told you, I think the Giants have a better defense than Seattle has. I think they are flat out loaded. That
No,
front.
you want to say they're flat out loaded to emphasize and heighten your point about the Cowboys being extraordinarily good. That's not true. Seattle has a better defense. They have better players.
What do I hear, Joy? How many times do I hear Jackrabbit on this show?
He's one guy.
He's
So
one guy? Yeah.
Hold up.
How many times-
What is Richard Sherman?
Cowboy boots.
Yeah.
Baseball cap turned back
Yeah.
with a Jackrabbit shirt on.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Jackrabbit.
Let me ask you a question.
You talk like Jackrabbit is a little better than Richard Sherman. That's what you talk like.
Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, he is a tad better. That might not be.
Yep.
That may or might not be true.
Okay.
Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor. What are they rated?
Landon Collins?
That's one guy. Is he
One
better?
guy?
Is he better than Earl Thomas?
What about DRC? You don't think he's more than one guy? He's like 2 guys rolled into one.
Well,
he's
you-
everywhere. Every
well,
time I
you-
look up, he's in the middle of a
Well,
play.
you hooked the ref up with some free tickets, and he threw out Lane
Yeah.
for a punch that he didn't throw. Okay, what about the middle backers? KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner. Which 2 of those guys are better than those on the Giants?
Casillas, every time I look up, he's in the middle of a play.
Skip, are you going to
Hey,
sit there and say that?
front, those 2 pass rushers, Olivier Vernon and your man.
MVP?
Yeah.
Okay, so
And Snacks, how many times have I heard on the show? Snacks, you can't move him.
Okay,
He is
let's
the immovable object in the middle of that defense.
okay, Bennett, Averill, Richardson, and Clark.
Are you taking credit for Sheldon Richardson?
I'm just saying. They have 8 of their 11 starters have gone to and played in a Pro Bowl.
Yep.
And you want to sit there. See, Skip, I see what you're doing. Everybody sees it. You want to make it seem like the Giants are the 2000 Ravens, because then that would even make your point even more. Oh, you see how they thoroughly dominated. Dak was up and down the field.
See, the Giants over the last 8 games last year showed you they were the best defense in football last year over the last 8 games, and they have carried it right into this year. You know it, and I know it. Last week you were saying this.
But you just said over the last 8 games, the Giants didn't score more than 20 points. So they had to be great, or they wouldn't have gone anywhere.
But they did go. They went 11-5 because of that defense.
Okay, what about and who sent that defense home? How many yards did Aaron Rodgers throw for in the
Who
frozen?
sent the defense home? Nodell sent it home, basically.
He was on the Packers?
No, but he went to South Beach. That just wrecked their team unity.
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's on Odell.
Let me ask you a question. In the divisional, neutral A, your team, big jumbotron, snacks, paid $325 per order for a suite. Jared done jacked them prices up. $12 for a beer. Cowboys, the Packers. Who went to face Atlanta in the NFC Championship game?
Mason Crossbar win.
Don't do that, Skip.
He did. You know it, and I know it.
Skip.
Was he not the MVP of the divisional game?
Aaron Rodgers threw for 384 and made the throw of the year.
No mercy. This is the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. Before the show moves along, I want to tell you about my favorite new app called Draft. If you love fantasy football, then you need to try the Draft app. It's weekly fantasy football, but not like the other guys. On Draft, you play real live snake drafts with other people just like in your season-long league. But here's the twist. It's a draft that lasts for just 1 week and there's no management. Just set it and forget it. Once you're done drafting, that's it. No trades, no waiver wire. Draft even takes care of last-minute injuries for you. And if you didn't win 1 week, on the Draft app, you can start all over for next week. Drafts take about 5 minutes to do, and they start every couple minutes, so you can join one right now. And the best part, play for cold, hard cash. Draft starts from just $1, so there's a draft for everyone. Come join me on Draft today. Download the app anytime. Just search Draft in your app store and join a game in minutes, or play right from your computer on playdraft.com, whatever you want. For a limited time only, all new players get a free entry into Draft when you make your first deposit, but you have to use my promo code UNDISPUTED. That's right. Play a real money game for free just using my promo code UNDISPUTED on your first deposit on Draft. Just search Draft in the App Store or go to playdraft.com and come play free with promo code UNDISPUTED. No mercy. Adrian Peterson had a disappointing homecoming in his Saints debut Monday night. He tied a career low with only 6 carries for 18 yards and only played 9 snaps. AP also appeared to have words on the sideline in a heated exchange with Coach Sean Payton. Both downplayed the incident after the game. We're joined by Hall of Famer and FS1 NFL analyst Eric Dickerson. Welcome, Eric. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. What's your take on this situation?
Well, should AP be upset? Yes, he should. But in a sense, no, he shouldn't, because you go to New Orleans, this is a passing football team. You know that. When you go home to play the Minnesota Vikings, you hope to play more than 10 snaps. Get the ball more than 9 times. What, you got nine carries? That's not fun, believe me. I mean, I've been there before. When I played with the Raiders, they told me they were going to get rid of Marcus Allen when they brought me in. I'd play up to halftime. When we played the San Diego Chargers at half, I had 100 yards, didn't play anymore.
Really?
Yes, Kansas City Chiefs. Had a 40-yard touchdown, didn't play anymore. It's frustrating, and I know AP's frustrated, but I always thought the best fit with him would be Green Bay. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, you know, he has Ty Montgomery as a running back. I think AP would have been a lot better. So does he have a right to be upset? Yes and no, because I think you have to be upset with yourself for going to New Orleans, knowing that this is a football team that really throws the football most of the time. So, and they have a young back. They have a new young back there, Alvin Kamara. So, you know, and Mark Ingram, he's been playing well. I mean, I've never been big on Bama running backs, but he's had a good career. So why would you go there? So, like I say, it's kind of a two-way street.
I said the same thing. It's a situation where this is running back by committee. That's what it means. 1 week, he might get 30 carries, but the next week, he might get 5 to 10. And Adrian Peterson, to maximize what he does really well, you have to give him the ball multiple times throughout the course of the game. Most offensive players are rhythm players. You got to get a rhythm. You got to get a feel of how the defense is chasing, what the front side looks back like, what the back side, what can I do? Because you're constantly trying, it's a chess game. You're trying to stay front side. Okay, I see that back side back there. I'm going to come here just when you least expect. Keep playing like that. I'm going to get back there a little bit. But the thing for me, I believe he could have stayed in Minnesota and been AP. Nobody was ever going to love him like the Minnesota Vikings. He's Adrian Peterson everywhere he goes from here on out. And he overplayed his hand by thinking he was going to get $10 to $12 million. They're not paying a 32-year-old running back $10 to $12 million. They don't really want to pay
a 22-year-old running back.
Thank you. Now, over the last couple of years, we've had an influx of running backs going in the first round. But you remember, Skip, there was a time, a period, running backs weren't going in the first round anymore.
Nope.
But that's the new way of thinking. It's more of a passing league now. You feel you can get the guy everybody's doing running back by committee. So why would I pay a guy $12 million when I can have 3 guys and pay them $9 million between the 3 of them, a la what New England's done? But he went to a team that had a running back that went into the Pro Bowl last year. They drafted a running back in the 3rd round, and he signed a week before the draft. Shows me he was desperate because free agency started the second week of March. So from the second week of March until a week before the draft, which started I think in May, what was going on? He was overplaying his hand. He could have had the same deal in Seattle that Eddie Lacy got, minus the fat clause in there. Adrian Peterson, they weren't gonna give him no clauses to work out because that's what he does anyway. Skip, I'm not surprised. They're not gonna revamp their entire offense and take the ball out of Drew Brees' hand because they built this offense around Drew Brees and what he does really well. And what he does really well is throw the football. So Adrian Peterson, take 3 deep breaths.
Suck it up.
Like my grandma said, hey, boy, you better swallow it because if it come out your mouth.
Well, guess what? It came out of his mouth right at the coach late in the first half. We got to see it on national TV. And that's one coach you don't cross. That he's got as big an ego as any coach in the league has.
That's that Parcells treat.
I know, I got it. And he's got total control of that franchise. And I believe Adrian burned his bridge with that little salvo that he spat out at the coach. And I believe Adrian Peterson got sold a bill of goods by Sean Payton because I believe he thought he was going to get featured, at least in game 1, just to see what he had left. And I bought into it hook, line, and sinker because I thought Adrian's resurgence, especially in game 1 back in his old stomping grounds, would fuel this team to a good start that would lead to a good year. And I thought I was off to the races on the first carry of the game because what happened? 9 yards happened, and about the last 5, it looked like he carried the whole pile for 5 yards. And then second down, they needed just a yard, and he banged it up in there and got the first down. And then what happened? Nothing happened. They took him out. They took him out of the game. Nobody in the world, seriously, nobody in the world can appreciate what needs to happen to an Adrian Peterson the way this man can appreciate it. Because as you point out also, you just have to get into the flow. I can't even explain what it is. It's momentum. You break your sweat. You start to hit your stride. You start to feel of it. You start to quit thinking. You don't even think anymore. You just hear the play. It goes in your subconscious, and you just react. And you see hole, hit hole, and it starts to cook, man. And you know how it felt when you were cooking against my Cowboys in that playoff game. Hit me with the numbers again. How many?
27 for 248, 3 touchdowns.
248.
I gotta say, Skip, you're talking like he's all the stuff he's saying is how a running back feels.
Yeah.
You got to get lathered up. You got to get
Lathered
the ball.
up.
You all of a sudden, you're right. You don't think about it. When you get the ball, you just hit it. And you come back like, give it to me again.
Give me 2 again.
Give it to me
27
again.
carries.
Yeah, give it to me again.
Because you needed 30 carries. Because you're just going to get stronger and faster and stronger and faster. And you're going to start to dominate psychologically, where they don't want to tackle you anymore.
They'll
right?
be like, hey, you get a couple good runs, you get like 30 yards or 3 carries. They get, come on over here, ED, sit with me. we gonna let him get. It happened to me in my first year in Baltimore, Skip. I signed early in free agency, and then like a week before training camp, they signed Ben Coates, and so we were like, I play like a series, Ben play a series.
It's no good.
And I came to the sideline. I'm like, man, I can't do this. He's like, Brian asked me, am I gonna pull a TO? I said, Coach. I said, I can't. I said, a rhythm like this. I said, I can't play a series, come out, sit over here for a series. How about this? Either let him play or let me play.
Yep.
Now I'm not gonna complain because y'all gave me some good money. I was
you never see him rotating quarterbacks or left tackles. I'm gonna take the left tackle.
A couple times coaches have tried to rotate quarterbacks disastrously.
But they're not gonna take the top quarterback
No.
out. No, never. They're not gonna take the top tackle out and say, okay, he can't pass block, he can run block. So the run situation, you're gonna leave him in. And the running back, I know this feeling. I know he's frustrated. I think the best thing, and let him go. Let him go
I agree with you.
Let him go somewhere.
Yeah, because look, is Mark Ingram, Adrian Peterson, if they're both at full strength, and I think Adrian's got a lot left in his tank at 32. Yeah. But no, he's not. But did he make the Pro Bowl? Yeah, he did.
But normally, Skip, when you have two running backs, one is a power guy, the other is a scat back. Mark Ingram is more in line to what Adrian Peterson does.
I agree.
Than what he doesn't.
I'm
now,
with you.
Kamara is totally opposite. Kamara is a scat back, the guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield.
He's got some size.
Yeah, he got some size. But Mark Ingram is more of a power back, kind of like AP. And now I would have a problem if I'm AP if you told me this coming in what I was going to be. But if they told him, said, look, we're going to be running back by committee. Now, obviously, you're not going to tell him what we're going to do in the draft.
I don't tell him that. You don't tell him
but
that.
You went to a team with a pro. If I'm a tight end and I go to a team with a Pro Bowl tight end, what am I expecting to do? I mean, honestly, ED.
Not play much, or you're gonna split time. That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna split time.
So remember, this isn't the Belichick method, which you brought up. The Belichick method is I got a stable of backs, I got a committee,
Right.
but I'm going to pick them for different games.
Right.
Games. LeGarrette, this is your game.
AFC Championship
You're going to
game.
get the ball 20 times. Yeah, whatever it is.
Against the Colts.
Or James White.
Deion Lewis.
Yeah, Deion Lewis. You know, this is your game because we can do that to them.
Right.
Okay, I get that because you get lathered up because it's your game, but you can't alternate.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. Those guys are used to playing in that role. When you've been the bell cow since you were 7 years old, and now all of a sudden you're 32, and they want you to alternate. He had 6 running plays. He had 9 snaps. That's not nearly enough to get. He can't play like a Gillisley. He can't play like a Lewis or a White. They're used to playing those roles. They're used to playing 1 series or 2 plays, and then guess what? It might be 15 minutes later before they get back into the game. But they're used to that. That's how they're conditioned.
Yep.
Adrian Peterson is used to getting the ball 25 times a game.
Yep.
And he's only coming out when he's tired.
Yep. And then
I think he might say it's not embarrassing, but it's very embarrassing to go back to your stadium where you played, where you're going to have a debut and you have 18 yards. That's embarrassing. I mean, when I came back and played the Rams in 1989, at least I think I had 118 yards. We lost the game.
Well, you remember those numbers.
Oh,
I like
that.
that.
I had 118 yards.
Hey, but that's
I had 100 yards and a touchdown. I got a touchdown.
But see, you thought it was only me. And I tell them all the time, I bet you Peyton Manning can tell you every game he threw for 300, 400 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Athletes know their numbers.
Okay, but
You know the
to
bad
make
games,
sure
too.
that they have, footage queued up so that when you bring
That's
it
what
up.
you need to do. You need to tell them you have that footage queued up. You need to have
So
that Cowboy game. So here, right here, when I hit this gap, when I hit this power, this OT power, they pull it.
Hey, I got them stuck in my mind's eye. I can see them. I can see you just dragging blue tacklers.
Oh, did you see that game when I hit the Cowboys up in 2000?
I don't
What'd
remember that
you
game.
have?
5 for 1-on-1 in the tub. We had 43 on them.
Where was it?
It was in Baltimore. We held them under 200 yards. Defense held them under 200 yards. Shut them out 27-0. And then 98, I got them again. I
like you said,
only had like 6 for like 95.
Always remember those games. Now, the ones you lose, you play bad, you try to forget those.
Yeah, you try to
You
forget
remember
them.
them.
But I
Try to
remember
forget
them, yeah.
So you rode John Elway's coattails to 2 Super Bowls, and then you rode Ray Lewis's coattails to 2 Super
Hold
Bowls.
up. Did
Ray Lewis.
Ray ain't go to Denver and win no Super Bowl. John didn't go to Baltimore. What's the common denominator on both teams?
Well, a Hall of Fame quarterback
Oh,
here,
see, there you
and the greatest defense ever over here.
What about the play?
Defense? Maybe Chicago Bears. So stop right
Hey, now that.
There you go.
Yeah, and do you remember your numbers that
there.
game?
Yeah, I do remember my numbers that game. I had, I think, 18 or 20. I had 50 yards. I know that.
50 yards.
That was a tough day. I had nothing.
Hey.
I played 9-man front on me all
That
day.
Bear defense.
But that's what the Bear defense was.
Yeah, they had 9-man front.
And it was one.
Dieter Brock.
Dieter Brock. Listen, he had to deal with Dieter Brock. You had Trent.
And you know why? You know why the Bear defense went away? Because they started protecting it. They put the bigs on bigs, and they threw the ball. That's why you don't see people playing that Bear defense all that much anymore.
What is it? Football now is 7-on-7.
That's all it is.
It's a passing game.
Spread the field.
Yeah, passing game.
No mercy.
The Cowboys are a 1.5-point favorite for their showdown in Denver Sunday on Fox. We're joined by Mark Schlereth. Welcome, Stink.
Thank you. It's good to be here
we got
with you
too
guys.
much orange on this panel right now,
Right
right?
on blue today.
Yeah.
But you bleed orange, both of you.
A little bit.
Yep.
A little bit. We can get some
all right. Yeah.
objectivity maybe out of Stink. Should Dallas be favored in the game?
Yeah, they should be favored in the game. I think ultimately you look at Dallas, what they were able to do against arguably the best defense in the NFC, dominate the time of possession, dominate the line of scrimmage. Here's what I love about Dallas. Dallas understands how to run the ball and dictate the running game when they need to dictate in the running game. 8-man front, 9-man front, we don't care. We know we can run it, and we will run it against all those fronts, and we'll have success. They are that good. And when you have that ability, we can sit there and talk about, for Ben McAdoo with his greaseback hair can talk about the fact that he doesn't know anybody on the Dallas Cowboys defense. And guess what? Good for you, right? You come out looking like Fat Riley, not Pat Riley with that greaseback hair. And the bottom line is you set yourself up to get destroyed. That's what you set yourself up for. They flew around. That defense is fresh. Sean Lee is a freak show. Jalen Smith is a freak show. I will tell you this. The Denver Broncos, they defended the run. They had one big run against Gordon. His first run was 21 yards, and then they shut it down.
And that was from the goal line. They
Right.
were trapped.
But let me tell you, Darian Stewart was a difference maker. That guy filled the alley. He came downhill from 12, 14 yards deep. He made 3 or 4 one-on-one situation tackles where he was shot from a cannon, and he made the play from 12, 14 yards deep at the line of scrimmage. Gordon is not Zeke Elliott. Zeke Elliott's going to break, either make you miss or break 1 or 2 of those tackles. So there was a chance for another 4 or 5 breakout runs. They're missing. That Crick didn't play, Kerr didn't play, Shane Ray is out on the PUP. But Zeke Elliott will break 2 or 3 of those. There'll be 3 or 4 more breakout runs if they don't correct those issues. So I don't have any problem with the Dallas Cowboys being favored in this game. Now I'm going to take the Broncos. You know why? Because they're the Broncos. I'm taking the Broncos. But I don't have any problem with them being favored.
I told you, Skip, 2 things can be true. They can be favored, and the Broncos are going to win. 2 things, favorite and win. You look at what they represent. We know the Cowboys are going to run the football. That's what they do. They are a running football team, and it makes the Dak attack so much more potent because they can run it. Now they play actually, because remember, that's how Jason Witten got that touchdown. Because you stick the ball in the belly of Zeke, everybody's going to come flying up.
Oh.
But don't worry about it.
Dak overrated, correct? That's what you said. Keep saying it.
See,
Keep
there you
on.
go.
You're going to turn into Ben McAdoo before the show is over.
You always.
You ought to start slicking your hair back.
No, I can slick it to the. It's fried down and kicked to the side. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got for you right here. They should be favored. I think offensively, the question is strength against strength. The Broncos' strength lies in their defense. The Cowboys' strength lies in their offense. Now, can the Broncos' offense have success against the Cowboys' defense? And can the Broncos' defense neutralize some of what the Cowboys do on the ground? I ain't worried about. Oh, you know Dad's gonna go back to jail again. Talib, you know what Talib would do?
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh, Talib, that guy
prediction.
for real. Talib, that guy for real. Now he think Jackrabbit bad. And then Chris Harris Jr. See, we don't even flip-flop our corners. Because wherever you go to Rikers Island. So you go to the left, you're on Rikers. You go to the other place, you go to Alcatraz. Which way you want to be in? Both of them are no good.
So help me out here. Darian Stewart is running downhill, blowing people
Load him up.
And we got beyond Jackrabbit on one corner, and we got the best tandem corners in the league,
indeed.
right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So why wouldn't Denver be favored? I don't get it.
Because
I'm trying to be objective over here, and I'm a Cowboy fan.
Y'all got 3 all-pro offensive linemen. You got Zeke.
Oh, really?
But the gap integrity needs to be better because you saw what I saw. There are a lot of guys in the same gap, and there were some creases that, Darian Stewart came and made a tackle for a 2-yard gain.
Yep.
That might be an 8, 10, 15-yard gain if that's Zeke Elliott. So when you play a team that can run the ball and they're committed, see, San Diego's not committed to running the ball. They got Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
The Dallas Cowboys are committed to running the football.
Yep.
And when you find a team, Mark and I played on a team that very similar. We were committed to running the football. Now, you miss a gap, TD was going to hit his head on the goalpost. Now, if you got it just right, we might get like 3 or 4 yards. You get it wrong, we weren't trying to make you play by first down. We're trying to make you play by touchdown. And that's what the Cowboys will do. So I expect them to play better than what they played on Monday night. That's why I'm going to pick them to win and get my due back from you on.
So why shouldn't at home the Broncos be favored? Because Help me out. I don't know a stronger home field outdoor advantage than this one. Maybe Seattle, maybe, but this is close.
I think here's the deal. When you look at the Broncos, there are still so many question marks on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Menelik Watson struggled on the edge. I mean, struggle on the edge. When you're 335 pounds and you're getting ragdolled because your feet are all out of whack and you're getting help from the outside and you're not using that help, those things need to be rectified. The other thing is Trevor Siemian. People don't trust Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian played a hell of a game on Monday night.
QBR 82.
He was outstanding. The thing I liked, his response. He almost throws a pick six. The next drive, he goes 5 of 6 on a touchdown drive. Third quarter comes out, throws on a second down play to Demaryius Thomas, who drops it. Guess what? 3rd down and 6, the very next play, over the top, 29 yards. Back-to-back turnovers, what happens? Back-to-back turnovers, the Broncos get the ball. He throws the seam, down the seam to Virgil Green, 44 yards, puts themselves in field goal position. Now, they missed that field goal, but his ability to respond
Because
to me
he
was
got sacked
incredible.
twice at
Yeah,
the
he
back.
pulled Matt Ryan on us. You're in field goal range. You take a 6-yard sack and a 13-yard sack. Those are the plays that if you're trying to get you where you need to be, those are the plays your quarterback can't make.
And those didn't even concern me as much as 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And they run a fake 19 handoff, the running back goes the wrong way. They come out and that's the sack you need to take. Right? That's the one you need to take.
You don't throw it away and stop the clock. Take the sack. They're going to stop the clock, and then they're going to automatically start the clock again. But those are the things that he has to learn. And also, that pick that he liked to throw, why would you throw a ball to C.J. Anderson with a corner rolled up? That's zone coverage. That's cover 2. Why would you throw to him?
He threw it right to the guy who intercepted the most passes in the league last year out of Vanderbilt University, Casey Hayward, and he dropped it. He dropped the whole game. It could have been 7-0 Chargers, and all of a sudden, Trevor's going to feel a little more pressure than usual.
You know what it's like to be dropped, because I be dropping knowledge on you daily from Vanderbilt University, dropping these bowls on
He
you.
had it. He just started running before.
He did. He saw 6.
Yeah.
He saw the goal line.
He
But
seen
then,
Got
nothing.
too excited.
back to Shannon Sharpe. The great Shannon Sharpe says that Sean Lee is dramatically overrated. You say he's a freak show, and I agree with you. But so he's overrated, which makes the whole defense overrated, which means, by the way, my best defensive back by far is Orlando Scandrick. He is out. He just broke his hand in opening Sunday night. And by the way, my best pass rusher by far is David Irving. He is suspended.
Who didn't even see the quarterback. The only time he saw Aaron Rodgers was at the coin toss. He didn't even get close to Aaron Rodgers in that playoff game.
Yeah.
He says, I keep saying Sean Lee is overrated. I said Sean Lee is not better than Luke Kuechly, and he isn't.
Right. Well, Luke Kuechly is also a freak show. There's no question about that.
But this is a freakier show than that
thing
freak
that
show.
I think you have to understand with the Dallas Cowboys is, for all you Chip Kelly fans out there that think time of possession doesn't matter, you guys are crazy because it does matter. Because what you saw in that game against the Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants, what you saw was a defense under Rod Marinelli that was fresh.
Yes.
That offense played 45, 46, 47 snaps in the first half.
They did.
Dallas Cowboys offense did. You got a defense that's fresh, that's fast, that can fly around. They have got some speed. Now, undersized, can you belly them up and beat them up? You probably can, but if you're never on the football field because Dallas is just going methodically down at 4 yards a carry with Zeke Elliott, 24 carries, 104 yards, you're going to be in deep trouble. That's what the Dallas Cowboys lean on you and lean on you and lean on you until you break.
So have you both talked yourself into picking the Cowboys on Sunday?
No.
Why not? You just made a strong case, right? Did you hear what this man?
I heard what he said.
Some knowledge just got dropped over there.
Everything he said. And guess what's going to get dropped on
Yeah.
y'all record. That's what's going to get dropped.
So what's it called? Thunder is going to be galloping?
Yep.
Up and down, up
Yep.
and down. Lots of touchdown drives.
You hear a lot of incomplete.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. And Trev is going to be all pro.
Trev.
Trev going to do what he do. But, hey, Dez, you want to go to jail at Rikers or you want to be in Alcatraz or Sing Sing or Folsom?
Ooh,
What you going?
they got 'em all.
Make sure
Leavenworth.
you check it out this Sunday afternoon on Fox. Mark, thanks for joining us, bringing the heat this morning.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening, guys. Before we get to the next topic, here's Shannon with a message from ZipRecruiter.
Thanks, Joy. Hiring can be a real pain, and it can be difficult to know where to post your job and to find the best candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites, and now you can with ZipRecruiter.com. You can post your positions to over 200 job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. It's that easy. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Nobody has time for that. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire them fast and in person. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by the most powerful companies and thousands of small and medium-sized businesses. Right now, listeners of our podcast can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/undisputed. That's ZipRecruiter.com/undisputed.
Thanks. One more time, our listeners can try it for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/undisputed. Now back to the show.
No mercy.
According to odds makers, reigning Heisman Trophy winner Lamar Jackson is now the favorite to win the award again. He threw 3 touchdowns and ran for 3 more against North Carolina on Saturday to bring his season total to 8. Jackson is followed by Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. We're joined by Fox College football analyst Joel Klatt. Welcome, Joel.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Back.
Thank you.
Joel, did we underrate Jackson going into the season?
Yes, unfortunately. Can I be the first one? Can I be at the front of the line saying that I was leading that charge, underrating Lamar Jackson? I was really concerned at the end of last year with the trend of his game and more specifically Louisville's overall game.
Right.
They were taking far too many sacks. In the last 3 games last year, he took 22 sacks himself. They were 0-3. Just didn't look like the same player we saw in particular in September a year ago. So I thought that some of those struggles might seep into 2017. Guess who was wrong? I was, and I'll be the first to admit it. Lamar Jackson got better as a pocket passer under Bobby Petrino, who's done this quite a few times with quarterbacks, developed them as passers, and he's still the explosive runner. See, here's the difference. We've seen quarterbacks in the past try to impress the NFL scouts in their last year in college by just staying in the pocket, not utilizing the skill set that God gave them, and still be able to run around. And their game trails off because of that. He's gotten better from the pocket, and he's still explosive on the outside. He's doing things, guys, right now that no other quarterback in the Power 5 has done in the history of our sport. Namely, in back-to-back games, throw for 300 and run for 100. The last quarterback to do that did it for Rice. Yeah, no offense to Rice, but that's not the Power 5. So, yes, I underrated Lamar Jackson. I'll be the first one to eat some crow there.
Front runner again?
So here's the part about the Heisman now. Any other year, he would be starting to run away with it because of his body of work a year ago and now what he's doing this year. But the problem is he's got company this year. There are great quarterbacks for great brands in great markets doing amazing things, namely Josh Rosen at UCLA. Guys, the 34-point comeback against A&M in the last 6 quarters, he's thrown for 79%, over 700 yards and 9 touchdowns. In 6 quarters. You've got Sam Darnold, also in L.A. He just did to Stanford what we have not seen a quarterback do to Stanford under David Shaw. This guy was surgical, 21 of 26, I believe, only 5 incompletions, over 300 yards. Mayfield is 10-0 in true road games, just beat Ohio State and put the flag in the blocko at the 50. He was 16 of his last 17 in that game, Skip. Crunch time. You've also got Mason Rudolph. He's playing great football. He's 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. So the Heisman race. This is shaping up to be as close a race or as good a race as we saw back in 2008 when Sam Bradford, Colt McCoy, and Tim Tebow were all within 151 points of each other in the final Heisman balloting. I think we're going to have a Heisman Trophy race that is of epic proportions down the stretch because of all these players.
Well, I tell you what, the 3rd game last year, he staked his claim, and he took off because he put something on Florida State no other team had ever done.
63
now,
of them.
If he has one of these games like he had last year against Clemson, and we know what Clemson represents defensively, he puts together one of those games, bye-bye Mason Rudolph, bye-bye Baker Mayfield.
There you go.
You know why, Skip? We undervalued him? It's because history told us he wouldn't do it again. Because Tim Tebow won it and came back, he didn't win it. Mark Ingram came back, he didn't win it. Johnny Manziel came back, he didn't win it. We've seen so many guys only once, and we've only had one, and that's from Ohio State, Archie Griffin, I think 74-75. So in 40 years, you've had one. In the entire history of the Heisman, you've had one. So history told us it wasn't going to happen again. And as you mentioned, Joel, his last 3 games and how bad they looked in the bowl game, see, we like Sam Darnold got the nod because of how well he looked in the Rose Bowl. We undervalued Lamar Jackson because how well he played closing the season. But what he is, he's Michael Vick with a better arm.
He is.
That's what he is right now. And
Not a stronger arm, but a more accurate.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
just better pass.
And all these people, well, he can't play. Yeah, he can. He can play in the NFL.
He can.
He can play in the NFL, and he's coming out this year. I don't know if he's going to win the Heisman, but right now you would have to say he's the favorite to do what he did. I mean, he went to North Carolina, and North Carolina is not Ohio State. But how does one quarterback account for more yards than the other team and more touchdowns than the other team? And you and I, we were never in on J.T. Barrett. And and you hate to say this, but the blessing in disguise is when J.T. Barrett got hurt. They would not have beaten Alabama with J.T. Barrett. It took Cordell Jones' passing ability to beat Alabama. They would not have beaten Alabama with J.T. Barrett.
By the way, Cardell could take off and run.
I mean, he was like 260.
Yeah, 260, but he could throw the football.
Yeah.
So you can't beat Alabama being one-dimensional.
Well, when you got Ezekiel Elliott, you're good. It's
no,
over.
Yeah, but
230 yards?
He wasn't gonna beat him. So last year against Clemson, 295 pass, 162 rush, 3 total touchdowns. Hey, Clemson's loaded defense. They just got 11 sacks last week against Auburn, who's number 13 team in the country. They go down to Louisville at Papa John's or whatever the stadium's called, Skip. Lamar Jackson hangs up a similar game to that.
Yeah, I agree.
He about to step on the gas on everybody in this Heisman race.
I will make it unanimous. I didn't just underrate. I just completely overlooked Lamar Jackson. I kept looking at his name, and my eyes would just glaze, and I'd go down to the next Heisman contender. And I don't know why. It's because he tailed off and fell off at the end of the year and kind of fell off the map at the end of the year. And it stuck in my craw that I'm not sure he really deserved the award last year until you look back at those first games in the Florida State game. But I watched start to finish the game against North Carolina on Saturday. And I'm just going off my eye test. He's the best player in college football. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to outperform the others to win the award, but he's just the best player in college football. And I know it was mentioned on the ESPN telecast that North Carolina doesn't have the best defense in college football, and thanks to Lamar, they fell all the way to 126th out of 129 teams, but he had a lot to do with that because you want to talk about electric, just dominating, throwing the football as well as running. The running became an afterthought against North Carolina because he sliced and diced them with his eyes and his arm. So if I just do eye test, he just leaps off. So I couldn't quit watching the game because I thought, what's he going to do next?
Right.
Again, is it just North Carolina? I don't know. Watch, they'll have 5 guys taken in the first 2 rounds of the draft because they always do. And I say,
well, I mean,
why weren't they?
They lost to Cal at home the week before. I don't think North Carolina's a juggernaut.
Okay, they're not a juggernaut. But last year against Deshaun Watson head-to-head, even though he put up some good numbers, when the money was on the table late in the game, Deshaun took the game over. And remember, Lamar had, what do you have, 4 cracks at it from whatever it was.
Skip, the guy
inside the 30.
Skip, his receiver ran out of bounds.
He
1
did.
yard short.
I know,
was
but he
nice.
had a chance to be that guy. He had a chance just to close the deal in my mind, and he didn't close it. Maybe he's going to close it this time.
Joe, let me ask you this. Who do you think will be a better quarterback? You think Lamar or Deshaun?
In the league?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because they got very similar games. I think he's a better runner.
Lamar's certainly a better runner. We haven't seen a runner like this since Michael Vick. And we all know what he was prior to everything that went down with Michael. He was the most dangerous thing in the league.
Right.
Not just quarterback that could run. He was the most dangerous thing in the league.
Right.
If Lamar can come and do that in the NFL, he will provide more to his franchise than Deshaun at this point. But fit has so much to do with this, guys. He's going to need a coordinator that understands how to use him.
Right.
And he's going to need a defense and a running game to help him out a little bit.
I agree.
And that's where Deshaun's going to be ahead of him because I think the Texans are further along than most organizations that have a rookie quarterback that they need to play well.
My money is on Deshaun because I've seen those big game, big stage intangibles, the poise, the playmaking under extreme pressure against the best defense in college football 2 years in a row. I'm going to bank on that, but that's not to discount what he's doing. Although, what's my favorite quarterback stat? QBR. They also have it in college. And just for the record, Lamar so far ranks only 19th in QBR. That's your overall game. And it's hard for me to sort of qualify that stat, but that's what he is right now. And just for the record, our man Mason Rudolph is 4th in the country. Baker Mayfield is 7th. Darnold is 15th because he had a shaky game against Western Michigan. And what's he now? 4-4, 4 touchdowns to 4 interceptions.
If Lamar Jackson and Louisville beat Clemson,
it
will be for one reason.
Yeah.
Because he's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
The team, I mean, they struggled with Purdue. He had to rush for 100, throw for 300 to beat Purdue. They struggled with North Carolina, who just lost to Cal. He's got to run for 3. He's not doing this in blowouts where, I mean, he has to do some of this stuff because their team is not quite what it was a year ago. If he pulls this off, oh my goodness, like you said, I mean, he will be separating himself from the rest of the pack, in a pack that's very good, by the way, and doing some extraordinary things. And we didn't even talk about Baker.
No.
My goodness.
Hey, that was an extraordinary performance.
10-0 in true road games, guys. 10-0.
Wow. Shouldn't have apologized right then.
No. If you want him to apologize, stop him on the field.
Thank you.
Cool.
I'm surprised
They just
you
had
said
60
that.
minutes to stop him, and they
A
didn't.
little grip.
And that's
from
why
I
Joel.
thought Joe would say it's uncollege-like.
No, that is good. That, to me, that is
Really?
like, that is what college is all about.
That's
Right.
what I've been telling you
Spicy.
about T.O. You don't want it with pom-poms and do it writing with Sharpies.
He
Stop
did it to my team.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
right?
Oh, at the start.
And by the way,
He
Joy,
made it personal.
one last point. Guess who's #1 in college QBR so far? How about Kyle Shermer of Vanderbilt University?
Skip.
Vandy.
How about
He probably
Speaking
threw
of
20
old
passes.
school-
He probably threw 20
He's
passes.
thrown a bunch of passes.
Their
He can wing it.
defense
His
is pretty
father's
salty
the
this year.
coordinator of the Vikings.
I'm just trying to figure out how can Lamar Jackson be like 19? The dude got a 300.
I know.
2 300-yard game passes and 2 100-yard rush games.
It's been amazing. Check out Joel on
pretty
Saturday
good
night
at
for
my
USC
Yeah.
Texas game on Fox. Joel, thanks.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
No mercy.
To the NBA, where Kevin Durant is continuing his King Petty tour by sending another message to his critics. These are images of the new KD 10 shoe with insoles containing words Durant has been called, such as snake, traitor, and he's also been referred to as can't beat him, join him. Those words are covered by his stats in the finals and the words 2017 champs. Shannon, do you have any issue with this?
I do not. You know, pettiness can be a good thing sometimes. Because, you know, I've been working with old Queen Petty
Yep,
for over a
you
year, so I've gotten used to accepting pettiness at its highest proportion.
I think you have a dose in you, too.
A little bit. That much. George, like, cup runneth over. Skip, he used this, all these slights, and this goes to show you.
Yep.
When an athlete says, well, I don't watch TV, or I don't hear what they say,
Yep.
I've always told you they're lying. Because if they don't hear it, they got members of their team, family members, that bring them back. Because everything that he couldn't fit it all in the insoles, but he fit most of it.
He did.
Or the ones that he felt stung by the most.
That's true.
He put that in there because they said he was soft. They said he was a snake. They said, yeah, he can't. Oh, he can score titles. Yeah, he can score, but he's not a champion. But now they can't say anything. I approached it like this. I wasn't trying to prove you wrong. I was trying to prove me right. And if I proved me right, you were going to be wrong in the process.
That's true.
And that's what Kevin Durant did. This validated why he made this decision. He wanted to be a champion. Could he have stayed there and still been Kevin Durant? Absolutely. He still would have been a top 3 player. He still would have been a scoring champ. He still would have been an all-NBA player. But guess what, Skip? He was not going to win a championship in OKC. And the thing, what we criticize players when they don't win a championship, and then we question the manner in which they try and win that championship. You know, if he stays there, well, he ain't win no championship. Or then he goes and links up with, well, look what the Boston Celtics did. Yep. They traded the guy that helped recruit a guy that they really wanted, Gordon Hayward. They traded Isaiah Thomas. Teams will always do what's in the best interest of the team.
Yep.
They say is doing business. Kevin Durant did what was best for Kevin Durant. You see, back, Skip, when you cover the NBA, players weren't brands. The only player that was a brand was Michael Jordan. Now, if you're a top 20 player, you are a brand. And guys are trying to build on that. And the quickest way to build on that is to win and to win championships. And that's what Kevin Durant did. He won a championship. Forever, he's a champion. And he says, I'm not done. So I'm going to put a couple more of these things together unless somebody comes up with a super team that's better than ours. I don't have a problem. But here's the thing, Skip. From what I've been hearing, he's always been a trash talker. But you can only talk so much trash when you're not a champion. Because see, you doing all this talking, where your ring at, bro? Now what can they say? I'm a scoring champ. I'm an MVP. I'm a champion. I'm a finals MVP. Let me go ahead and close this up. The end. Time to go to bed. That's what he did.
So you're saying he's better than LeBron James?
No, see, Skip, why you do that?
Well, I was listening. I was mesmerized by your soliloquy,
Okay.
and I got to the last line, and I thought you were going to conclude, and he proved he's better than LeBron James.
LeBron James, hold on, bro. Wait a minute. I'm a 4-time MVP.
Oh.
Twice back-to-back in 2 different locations. Only me and Kareem and I've done that. Plus, I've been 3-time final MVP.
Yeah, you think you are LeBron James, but it's a whole
That's
nother
my
issue.
homeboy. That's my homeboy.
No, I got it. I thought you were from Georgia, but whatever. Back to Joy's question. To me, big picture, step back, this is so beneath Kevin bleeping Durant. This is, well, you know what it is in the end?
What?
It's just so Kevin Durant. This is who he is. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. And by the way, I like the heck out of him. I really do. I think he has a good heart. I kind of judge people good heart, bad heart.
Right.
He's got a big, good heart about him. But he is the thinnest skinned superstar I have ever observed closely in all my career. He cares so much that he cares too much what everybody says about him, including the Twitter trolls and anybody. You know, nobody on Twitter. Kevin takes it to heart.
He gets in YouTube comments.
I know. It's like, what? What are you doing? You're Kevin Durant. Don't do that. And I keep thinking, you showed them. You didn't have to tell them.
No, I need to tell you.
You showed them. You took over the NBA Finals in LeBron's house. You made the shot of shots, the biggest shot of the year, certainly the biggest shot of the finals, came with 45 seconds left in Game 3 in the King's house. Can we see that? Walked right into, Bron, what are you doing? Get your hand up. Don't let him do
His
that.
hand was up. I said,
Get your hand up.
We already talked about that, Skip. Talk about Durant.
That's clean as a whistle. That was the sweetest swish I've ever seen. It was like game over.
Oh, now you Irish Spring?
45 seconds left in the game that LeBron had a 4-point lead in with a minute and a half, and all of a sudden, nope, erased by the finals MVP. Was that not the shot of the year? Seriously, that was it?
Yes.
Okay, so you did that. You shut them all up, all the critics and the doubters and the haters and the naysayers, all of them, all the trolls. Boom, done, over. But he couldn't live with that. He needs to say, I told you so, in the insoles of his new shoe.
Yeah.
And he's got to tell him so like 30 different ways.
Yeah,
Like
all of them. I heard them all.
And again, it's what in baseball they used to call rabbit ears, where your ears are so big you hear everything that's being yelled at you from the crowd. Kevin hears everything, down to YouTube. It's like, what are you doing? But in a weird way, I do think it fuels him, because the shock of shocks to me, and I have no issue with him leaving Russell Westbrook. I didn't ever criticize him for a second, to go to Golden State, because he wanted to maximize his chances in his 10th NBA season to win. And not only did he maximize, he took that team over. That's what I loved about it. Was he not the best player on the best team? Right?
Yes, absolutely.
And Steph took a back seat and said, okay, you do it. You're the man.
He had no choice.
Huh?
He had no choice.
Well,
You know
he had a choice.
You know who the best is. Huh? You know, it's very obvious. I mean, you this pecking order, and I get it, superstar. But you know who the best player is.
Okay, so the best player said, watch me be the best player.
Yeah.
And Kevin took as harsh a sort of an internet beating as anybody's ever taken over leaving Russell Westbrook. It got pretty low.
But Skip, here's the thing I don't get. You said Michael Jackson heard every criticism, because when they drafted the guy after he retired,
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. After he retired, the guy said he hated that Michael retired for the simple fact he wanted to play him. Michael came in the gym, you said, a few days later.
He did.
Well, that should be beneath. That should be beneath.
Corey Benjamin.
That should be beneath him. All the slights that people said, he took it, and then Skip, at his Hall of Fame induction speech was all about the people that slighted him.
Okay, but he didn't list internet trolls in the speech, right? I mean, it wasn't Joe Blow from Iowa City, Iowa.
So hold on. Some of those comments were made by pundits, people that cover the media that cover the game of basketball.
Yeah.
So he heard that. But think about all the shots that it is Hall of Fame
Michael
induction.
looked for shots. He looked for ghosts that weren't even ghosts. You know, he looked for some reason to get even with that guy.
Well, Kevin Durant
But they were all players and general managers.
Kevin Durant looked for a reason.
Yeah.
Talk about the high school coach that cut
Oh,
him.
he's looking all right.
Get him.
Oh, he's
Getting
looking-
in
KD.
your YouTube comments is that's a thing.
That's a thing.
Get
That's a
him,
thing to do.
KD.
I've always
Right.
heard that he's a trash talker, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a little secret edge to him. You don't think that because when he was with Russell, it was like that brother thing, and he didn't really wear it the way that LeBron has worn it.
Get him,
But
KD.
I like it, though.
LeBron don't do no trash talking.
Yeah, well, wait a minute.
He's
KD,
on the ring right now. He's on the
wait,
top of the hill right now.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Join us again the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.